I think as a young person, if you're joining the army, I think naively people will romanticize about the idea of being in war and being in conflict, because Hollywood tries to sell it as this amazing thing where everyone is a hero and they go home to their women and everything is great. The reality is it's not that. Have it inside our beautiful fruit garden. You have to be a bit brave to pick the fruit in my garden.
Yep, like you said, it sounds there are just a little bit too many mines here.
Yeah, it's okay. My name is Christopher Garrett, otherwise known as Swampy. I'm from the Isle of Man in the United Kingdom. So before I came to Ukraine, I was volunteering in Southeast Asia, helping ethnic groups in Myanmar. I started getting involved with landmine clearance there. And then following the protests in Maidan, I'd been paying attention to what was going on. I then came out of the jungle in Asia in August 2014, and I came to Ukraine volunteering in areas which are heavily saturated with landmines. I've seen the effects of what happens to the civilian population. And when you've worked in areas where you have children with no legs, adults with no legs, adults with no arms, striving to continue an existence while still living around these things, it is a good driving force for me. I needed something back in the late thousands to give me some new focus in life. I wasn't happy where I was in life, and I found that in mine clearance. I have my own organization with my partner, so we have a US registered organization called Prevail. We provide, as an organization, we provide mine risk education training to soldiers. We also train a lot of combat engineers to bring their skill level up. We also provide medical support to the National Police bomb disposal units. So we work with the police bomb disposal units. Sometimes all the work will just be done in our classroom here. We have an outside training facility in our back garden as well. Obviously, you've seen the training facility that we have inside. We also run a lot of our training outside. We try to make our training as realistic as possible, because this is the only way to give good quality training. So for instance, we use a lot of 3D printed landmines for training. We will place them out and then we will leave them. So most of the mines that are in here now in the garden, there's maybe 200 mines. Some of these landmines have been buried in since March this year, March 2024. So we get that natural growth on top of them. And as an example, we have, just in this one space alone, we have close to 60 But there was cases where the Russians had placed a body into the back of a car and booby-trapped it. That incident killed 2 policemen. There was incidents of grenades being found in light fittings, in washing machines, just surprises everywhere. And these are not designed to kill combat engineers. They're not designed to kill the police, you know, these were placed there to kill civilians coming back to their homes, you know. As a civilian, there was nothing else. But while we were clearing around those areas, looking for booby traps, looking for landmines, clearing up all the unexploded ammunition, we found a trench. I have pictures of it somewhere. It was a Russian trench position that had been used for a vehicle, for a tank or a BTR. And it was completely full of women's clothing, children's toys. You know, this is not an invading, liberating army. They're not here to help anyone. You know, the tactics are disgusting. We see regularly on social media, they're either booby-trapping things, you know, they are killing civilians, they're torturing civilians. Some of my friends have been captured and tortured, you know. It's just horrendous what they've done. There is no humanity left. It's a bit of a cat and mouse game. It's a very serious game. But in reality for me, I just have to think about every task that I do in a specific way. I try to treat every job that I do as my first job. It's the first time I ever do it. By doing this, I make sure that I'm concentrating on the processes. The first thing I will do is I just switch off from everything else. I'm not thinking about my family. I'm not thinking about a beer. I'm not thinking about making dinner, going to see friends. My life is a very small box in front of me. But in the back of your mind, I'm also thinking, who placed this? Why did they place this? Does he know what he was doing? Was he actively trying to kill me, or was it just because he was told to place a landmine in the ground?
All stations, this is Swampy, stand by. Stand by! 5, 4, fire in the hole! Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole!
Because I've obviously come to Ukraine as a volunteer, as a foreigner, I do from time to time step back. I go back to normal civilian life, and it's not easy after you've experienced war, especially high intensity war like this. You know, you have to take time out to yourself. You have to learn to relax again. I'm a worse example of this. I'm not very good at it. You know, and it can be very, very hard. It's remembering how to adjust back to normal things. You know, a car door slams. You have to try to switch off to this, you know. I've always found it quite hard when I leave here and go back to Europe or go to see my partner in the US, because you see planes in the sky. It's a normal thing, but out here it's not. So you know, it's little things that you need to learn again. And I think ultimately you have to remember that one day this will all be over. Not everything will be a threat anymore. So my partner fully understands what I do. My partner's family understand what I do. It's not very easy because of the separation between us as a family, especially with a young baby. But between Courtney, my partner, and myself, we know what we're trying to achieve here. We want to do as much as we can to support Ukraine until Ukraine turns around and says, "Thank you, we don't need your help anymore."
Three, two, one, fire now!